Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. It is May 31st, the last day of May 2022. Thank you for being with us today. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just feel free to open up the chat window, put your questions in there, and we will take a break. We'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. For those watching on Facebook, feel free to put your questions into the comment field, and I am monitoring that feed, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Also, for those of you who are on Zoom, if you'd like to network with each other, you're welcome to put your contact information in the chat window so that you can connect with other people after the session is over and put your information in there so you can expand your LinkedIn connections. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I started a second website to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and I'll tell you about our upcoming program that we have this Friday at the end of this session. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, also known as the PIT Crew. Just remember, your LinkedIn profile and your resume doesn't get you a job. It does get you a phone call. How well you practice your interview skills is what's going to get you your next job. So if you'd like to have more information about the PIT Crew, just go to dallaspitcrew.com and you'll find all the information you need right there for that. Well, we have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis, but if you looked at the calendar, today is the 5th Tuesday of the month. So I've given Locke, Terry, Ruth, and Kurt the week off today. So I'm going to be presenting LinkedIn, Present Yourself Like a Pro. I gave this presentation to a national conference a couple months ago, and I just want to share it with you all today. So give me just a second to sort of get things up here. And so, oops, let me do a different screen share. There we go. Okay, so LinkedIn, Present Yourself Like a Pro. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about different kinds of recruiters. There are basically, because I think you need to know that when somebody does make that phone call, you need to have an idea, you need to know who, what is this person and why are they calling me? So there's 3 different basic kinds of recruiters. Number 1, there's an in-house recruiter. Second is an outside contingent recruiter. Or the third one, an outside retained search consultant. So let me sort of explain the difference of each one of these. An in-house recruiter works for the company. They could be handling 20 to 40 maybe 50 job requisitions at a time. So they're hired inside the company to hire people to fill slots at the company. Okay. They tend to be very, very, very busy because they're usually overloaded because they're trying to juggle so many different job applications. And they really have to rely on the ATS system, the applicant tracking system. We talk about the applicant tracking system a lot in our resume session that we'll be doing this Thursday, so I won't talk about it too much. But just be aware that an in-house recruiter, very busy, dealing with lots of different jobs at one time. An outside contingency recruiting firm, what happens is if the in-house recruiter maybe is too busy, they will go and hire 3 to 5 outside contingent recruiting firms to fill that same position. Now, maybe they'll just give it to 1 or 2 companies, but it could be 3 or 4. It's not unusual for them to give 3 or 4 companies. The company doesn't make any money until they find the person to fill that slot. So if you have 3 different companies trying to fill a slot, only the company that finds that person, that finds you and fills that position, will get paid. The other two get nothing, okay? So you've got to, it's really important to know that when an outside contingent recruiting firm calls you, they may not know a lot about the job. They may not know a lot about the company. I mean, they may be working with the company all the time, but many times they have no long-term relations with the company. So it's just a different way, something to know. And then the third time is the outside retained search consultant is an individual where only one firm is trying to fill that role, okay? They're trying to find that purple squirrel to fill the role for a company. They get paid an upfront fee, and then they get paid the balance upon placement of the job. And they usually have an extremely good relationship with the employer, because they've been working with this company. They know what they're looking for. They're their HR department, in effect. They're trying to find the perfect candidate for them. They go in for the interview to meet with the hiring manager, and the recruiter will, retained search consultant will pay a great deal of attention to make sure you're prepped, to make sure you know what's going on, to make sure what their hot buttons are, because they'll know what's going on inside the company. So just sort of be aware, there's 3 different basic kinds. When you get that phone call, I just want you to be aware of, who you could be dealing with. And if you're not sure, ask them, find out who they are. And it's really good. It's nice to know. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about LinkedIn today, I'm just going to sort of cover that 10% that you see poking above the water. LinkedIn, we could talk about LinkedIn for hours and hours and hours. So if we have plenty of time, we talk about everything at the bottom. So I'm just going to sort of highlight a few things that I think are important, that you need to know, that we need to talk about. And I don't know, I just think that this is a great way to sort of explain that. LinkedIn is could be very, very involved. All right, so LinkedIn has been growing. Back in 2009, they only had 37 million users. Now they're up to over 800 million users. They're growing like crazy. People all over the globe are on LinkedIn. And you can see it here. There's 180 million people in the United States on LinkedIn. That's half the population, if you really think about it. 18 million in Canada, 6 million in Chile, 53 million in Brazil. You can just see, if you go around the globe here, that it's really a global way. And recruiters are using LinkedIn more and more and more. So what you want to do, there's a couple of goals that you want to have on LinkedIn. Number one is you want to have a welcoming LinkedIn profile set up for recruiters. So when a recruiter finds you, or a hiring manager finds you on LinkedIn, what are you showing them? Number one, you want to make the profile easy to read. You don't want any large paragraphs of text. You want to have, and we'll talk about this later, but in your about section, 3 lines maximum, maybe 4, but break the text up into little groups. Make it easy. White space is good. Just like on a resume, white space is good on LinkedIn also. You've got to make sure you have a great picture. We'll talk about pictures in a little bit. The background banner. Don't use a generic one. Come up with something that represents who you are, that maybe would make a recruiter go, tell me about this banner. Tell me about what's going on. There's a great way to help sell yourself into what you do, and I'll show you more about that in a little bit also. And possibly you want to share some personal information. My son happens to do half Ironmans, and so he's got that listed in his profile as something he does, because it's 1/1000th of the population of the United States runs Ironmans, biking, swimming, and running. So it's sort of a unique thing that a lot of people don't do, but it's definitely a topic you can talk about. Number 2 is you want to make sure you optimize your profile so the LinkedIn search engine can find you. Now, LinkedIn's not going to tell you how they work on that search engine, but the more complete your profile is and the more active you are in LinkedIn, the higher your score is going to be. So you want to make sure you optimize things by, you want to fill in the categories. LinkedIn will help you do that. Your LinkedIn calculates your score on a daily basis. Okay, it's based on content and activity, how full your LinkedIn profile is. You can't see your score. LinkedIn won't divulge with the point value for any feature. So everything that we talk about, all the LinkedIn recruiters and anybody else, LinkedIn speakers, we talk about, these were things that we read articles about that people go, oh, they made this change and all of a sudden they moved up. And so they're sharing what they think could be the details, but nobody really knows. That's the secret sauce that LinkedIn has. But LinkedIn does change, so your score can change, and one day you could be up, the next day you could be down. All right, so what the search engine is looking for is a mutual interest between the recruiter and the candidate. So number one, and this is very, very important, are you more likely to respond? Are you on LinkedIn on a daily basis? Are you doing something on a daily basis? And we'll talk more about your activity in a little bit, but are you likely to respond? If you get a text, if you get a message, a LinkedIn request from somebody or a LinkedIn message, do you respond back out? Are you connected with employees in the company? So if this is an in-house recruiter, one of the features that they have, and if they have the LinkedIn full-blown recruiting package, is if they go do a search and they have 200 candidates that come up who could fill the bill for them, one of the options they have across the very top of their header is people who follow the company. So of the 200 people who came up in the search, it's possible that 35 of them follow the company. Well, they may look at those 35 people first because they already know what the company is doing or about, and maybe we'll find a great candidate right there. If they can't, then they'll broaden the search and look for more. They want to know that they follow the company on LinkedIn, and like I said, how many employees there are in the company, and is the employee open to work? Because if they're doing a search for people who are looking for work, they're going to want to know that. So that's one of the statistics. So Kurt Vonnemutter did our presentation last week. He does the full-blown recruiting package. He pays LinkedIn like $10,000 a year for LinkedIn. And what he talked about, or what we saw on the screen, was that there is 830 million people on LinkedIn. As soon as he clicked on open to work or more likely to respond, the 830 million dropped down to about 80 million people. So, that's 1 out of 10 people who are sort of active and are looking for work online. So you want to make sure you've got that open to work on there. You want to make sure that the relevance of the job is being searched. You want to make sure you have job titles that match, the key skills are in there, that if you can pass any of the skills assessment test, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But job titles, very, very important. Key skills. When you see a job description, make sure that those key skills are in your LinkedIn profile, because if somebody's searching for those, you've got to make sure that they pop up there. And you want them to pop up a key skill 3 to 5 times. So maybe in your about section and maybe in 2 or 3 of the job listings that you have on there. So to be an all-star on LinkedIn, you have to have a current position, a location, an industry, a summary statement, which is now called the about section. You need to have at least 5 skills. You can have up to 50. You need to list an education or say that you're currently working on something. And you need to have a good headshot. You need to have a headshot. Well, Jeff, I don't have a current position. Well, here's what you do if you don't have a current job. You take your profile and you build a new job position, and you put down the job title or 2 or 3 job titles that you're interested in. In the company space, the company, you list your phone number and email address. And then down underneath where it talks about what you do for the job, list 3 or 4 bullet points that sells you into the job you want. And you post that right now from whatever date that you were unemployed to present, and that gets you a current job. When you do get employed, you just go delete that job list. You delete that job listing, and it won't show anymore. But that gets you a current position. All right, so you want to maximize your titles. Number one, use the titles that LinkedIn has standardized. When you do the open to work section, it will start coming up with job. You start typing something in, it will pick job titles. Pick the job titles that LinkedIn uses, because that's what recruiters are going to be searching for. They're not going to make up, if you're a chief people person, some companies have some really odd names for an HR or whatever, chief people person. Well, that's really not a job title, but you may be director of talent acquisition. You can be director in human resources. Pick the job titles that are in LinkedIn. Let it play like that. You want to make sure that you have multiple titles to headline and open to work. So you want to make sure that you're telling people that you are open to work, and you want to add an additional title to the experience section. Make sure those titles are in your experience section, because the more times you list, product manager, product manager, product manager, if somebody's looking for a product manager, you're going to pop up. Okay. All right, so here's my LinkedIn profile. Just wanted to point out my front page. So this is my branding headline: accomplished manufacturing manager, operation manager, general manager. And then I put a little saying in there: better, faster, smarter, because that's just a little catchphrase I have. And then I have on there speaker at career workshops and seminars. Okay. I like to start out with an action verb and then a couple job titles. You have up to 220 characters here. I don't recommend going 5 lines, but 3 or 4 lines is enough. You get to 5 lines, people don't tend to read a big block of text. So here's a great way how to generate a headline. Okay. You want to start with an adjective: accomplished, award-winning, certified, engaging, experienced, flexible. Start with an action verb, because that may draw somebody in to what it is you're doing. And then you want to add a couple job titles in the second box. And job titles can be found on LinkedIn's list of job titles. And then you want to add a little value. What do? I put on better, faster, smarter. But you can say focused on, experienced in building teams, developing new concepts, whatever it is. Put a short little brief statement about what value you bring. So you hear the last box. Here's an example: a dynamic program manager driving brand awareness through integrated marketing. Okay, because there's lots of program managers out there, but you've got to give me a little bit more to tell me what it is in specifics that you do. Okay, so when you maximize your skills, you want to use those keywords. Keywords are very, very important. I mean, if you take away one thing from this presentation, is keywords matter. The more keywords you can have in your LinkedIn profile, the better opportunity you have to possibly be found. Okay, so you want to make sure you have keywords in your about section and your experience section. So here are a couple things that back in 2020, the top 5 soft skills were creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. The top 10 hard skills: blockchain, cloud computing, analytical reasoning, AI, UX design, business analysis, and so on. So if you've got some of these skills, be sure to put these in your profile so that you can be found. Okay, you want to make it easy. Keywords are very, very important. All right, in the skill and endorsement section, maximum number of skills allowed is 50. I recommend 45 to 50 skills. Go through and pick them out. Now, you don't need to list Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. You don't want to list manager. You want to list terms of action verbs and things that you've done. You don't have to use the ones that LinkedIn provides. If you've got a really good one, put it in there, a skill that you've been known by. 3 of the skills are going to be showcased on your profile, and those will be the first 3 skills that come up in the list. LinkedIn keeps changing the way you get those 3 skills up there. Last time I looked, it used to be you could drag them to the top. Now, when you call up the list of 50 skills, I think you just have to drag it to the top of the first 3 skills to get them in that order, to get it on that first page on your main profile page. Skills need to include both technical and managerial soft skills. Very, very important. They should be alphabetized. Make it much easier for somebody. Underneath each section, you should be able to alphabetize the skills, because it just looks nicer. It reads a little bit better. And LinkedIn will automatically categorize the skills into different sections, and those you can't move them out of one section into the other. So just sort of be advised that alphabetize in each one of those sections. That would be great. LinkedIn also offers a skill quiz, which allows you to take assessments on various tests. I've heard of some job seekers that have had an interview, and then the LinkedIn, and then the person doing the interviewing says, well, I need you to go out on LinkedIn and I want you to, and let me know, I want you to take 2 of the following 4 skill assessments and pick whatever 2 you want. And when you've completed them, let me know. So they're using LinkedIn to let them do a little bit of testing for you if they don't have their own testing assistants. So there are technical systems, there's business, there's design. Early results have shown, LinkedIn's been doing this now for like 1.5 years, has offered this. They say that more than likely around 30% of people who have taken these little skills are more likely to get hired by showing what it is you've done. Generally, the thing is 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. They're timed. They have to be completed in one session. You don't have time to go look up the answers. You've got to score 70% or more to be awarded the badge. And all the badge is going to do is show that little clipboard, like you see at the very bottom right-hand picture, those little clipboards next to your skill. That'll show that you've taken it. Now, originally, the LinkedIn said it would be valid for 12 months and it would expire after that. I have not heard of any of these skill tests expiring yet. It's only been out 1 year and a few months, as far as I know. So I don't know if they're starting to knock people off of that or not, but it's possible that after 1 year. If you happen to fail the test the first time, you can take it one more time after 3 months, but then if you fail it after the second time in 3 months, it will no longer be available for you to take. All right, so let's talk about pictures, the good, the bad, and the not so good ones. So the ones across the top, I don't like any of these. The upper left-hand picture, it's all washed out. Okay, the background, he didn't do a good job getting a background out. Now the second picture, it's not washed out, but it's too much in the background. Okay, and that's a casual picture. I mean, you know, you want your picture to look professional and it would just look nicer. The third one I think is too far away. The lady sitting there in the chair. I mean, I want to see the person from their shoulders up. I want to be able to see what they look like, their face wise. I'm not care about the rest of the body. The upper right hand picture, that's Gail. Is it him Gail or her Gail? We don't know which Gail it is. You know, your profile picture should just be you only. This is not Facebook. The pictures along the bottom, I like 3 of the 4. The second open to work picture that's really sort of back far away, where you sort of see the guy holding his arm up on a pedestal or something, that's too far away. So using the open to work banner, great. The photo on the lower right and lower left, both are fine. If you want to do just black and white, that's fine. But you know, I know that's Pete in the lower left-hand corner. I know that's Aaron in the lower left-hand corner. I mean, I know who these people are because it's easy to read and clarify and see them. Okay, let's talk about networking a little bit. You want to really use your college network. How to use your college network in the whole interview process, okay? So if you were to go, I typed in University of Houston because I was doing this meeting down in Houston for down at the university down there for one of the conferences I gave a couple months ago, one of the meetings I did. And so that's why I use them here. So you want to type in whatever college you've gone to, and then click on the alumni tab, which you see circled down there at the very, very bottom. When you do that, up will come 230,000 alumni who've gone to the University of Houston. Okay, so now your next thing is you can do is where do they live at? So if you live here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's 10,420 alumni who happen to live here. So you could click on that if you wanted to find other people who live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to maybe connect with. You could click on where they work, and you can find out that they're at Shell, ExxonMobil, you know, and if you click on that see more, it'll drop down. It should give you at least 10 different categories of where people are at. So if there's a company that you're interested in working at, you may want to do this because this gives you an opportunity to try to network with an alumni who's at, who works at the company that you would like to get in. If you click on C or the next button, it'll take you over to what they do. What are they doing in education and engineering, operation, business development? And if you click on see more, you'll be able to get more categories as far as what it is they do. And then you can see how you're connected. If you hit the next button one more time, it'll show you here's how you're connected. And I have 37 first degree connections, 3,900 secondary connections with the alumni, and 228,000 third plus. So all the rest of them are out there. So here's an easy way for you to find who you're connected to. So if you're on this screen, if you scroll down, you will start to see different people on there. A great way to connect with people, even if you didn't go to school with them, just because you're an alumni and went there with it. It's a great opportunity to network and send out connections and try to connect and expand your things. You want to have over 500 connections, okay? So we recommend over 500 because when you get anywhere from 1 to 499, I see the exact number of connections you have. But once you hit 500, or once you're over 500, all it has is 500 and the plus sign. Back in the day when LinkedIn first started, when I first got on LinkedIn 12, 14 years ago, it would show this person has 4,000 connections, 6,000 connections. Well, what people were doing is they were trying to see who could get the most connection requests. So LinkedIn just said, okay, well, we're going to stop that game. Once you're over 500, it'll just say 500 plus, and that looks good. People that you connect with should be in the similar industry or job function of your search goals. So as you're trying to reach out to people, I think there's two areas: alumni, and then people who may be in a similar industry. Because if you're an alumni who happens to work at a similar company that you're interested in, they could maybe walk your resume in or help you or give you some advice into a company. You want to add recruiters that work in those target companies. So if you can, just find recruiters who, if you're applying to ExxonMobil, look, type in recruiters and see, well, who's a recruiter? All right, let me just send a connection request to those people, because maybe one of them may be the person who happened to post a job. So I want to just connect with those type of people. You want to add people with titles that could denote hiring manager status. So if you were looking for director, if you were in HR and you're trying to, you want to get a job into ExxonMobil in the HR department, reach out to the talent acquisition manager, to the director of HR. Reach out and try to connect with those people, because once again, maybe an opportunity for you to connect with a potential future boss. All right, a couple of LinkedIn settings that you've got to make sure you adjust. Number one, the first one is viewers of this profile also viewed. I'm sure you've looked at people's profiles, or hopefully you have, and on the right-hand side, you'll see a little screen like I have here. It says people also viewed. What you've done is you've got yourself, or you'll say you're looking at Joe Smith. Well, here's Joe Smith, but here are 10 more people just like Joe Smith on the side. Well, recruiters love that, because now here are other people who may be able to do exactly what Joe Smith did if I don't like his profile. Why do you want to promote other people? So be sure to turn this feature off. Viewers of this profile also viewed. Very, very important. The second thing you probably want to also adjust is in your privacy setting, share job changes, education changes, and work anniversaries from profile. Make that a no. And the reason being is you want to, every time you make a change in your profile, if this is turned on, everybody will find out about it. If you go and create a job saying that you're currently looking for a new job, everybody will think you have a new job posting, that you've posted that you've gotten a new job and that people will congratulate you and stuff. So you want to be careful with that. So I recommend you turn this off, and you don't announce to everybody you've made changes until you're ready to announce it to everybody. You've got to make sure you optimize your contact information. This blows me away every time Kurt Vondermatter shows us LinkedIn from the back end. People they're open to work. There's 80 million people open to work. I wish there was a little button that says, have provided their phone number or email address, because I bet that number would be maybe 10 million out of the 80 million, because we look at all these people who are open to work, but they don't give us a phone number or email address. So we have no way to contact you. It's just unbelievable. So make sure in your contact, put down phone number, email address. Birthday is not important, but if you want to put that in there, that's fine. We don't need your street address, but make it easy. Now, if you don't want to list your phone number, and I understand a lot of women don't want to do that, get a Google Voice number. Google Voice numbers are free. And what you were able to do is you post your Google Voice number. When they call that number, it then rolls to your cell phone. So there's a way to protect your cell phone number. Listen, my number's on there. I don't get a lot of spam. I don't get a lot of phone calls. I'm just, at least, maybe people don't want to contact me. I don't know. So I've even built my name, my phone number, and my email address into my banner picture. Okay, now I know we were just about ready to talk about banners here. You want to have an interesting background. So if you look at my banner, do you think you sort of know what I do? I'm in production and manufacturing. I've managed, reported employees, productivity. You know, you can sort of see the keywords that pop in. This is a word cloud pulling stuff off my resume from a few years ago. I put a copy of my book on there because I'm proud I wrote a book. So if somebody's interested, they will see that book on there. But above my face, you'll see that I added my name and phone number so that, you know, your contact information is only seen by your first degree connections. Your second and third degree connections can't see it. If people are using if they're paying for the recruiting package, they can see it. But I want to make it so easy that if somebody just happens to Google me, and LinkedIn is great for SEO as far as getting search engine optimization for people being able to find your name on there. If they were to happen to find my generic LinkedIn profile, they'd see my phone number and email address and be able to reach out to me right away. One of the great ways that you can create a banner image is to use a free program called canva.com, canva.com. Totally free. I mean, you can pay for the pro package, but the basic package is everything you need for. And just, you know, it says in the search box, what will you design? Type in LinkedIn and you'll see that all of a sudden up will come a LinkedIn banner, and there's two of them listed. The second one is the one you want to use for your LinkedIn profile. The first one is for a corporate page. It's a little bit bigger banner. So use that second one and it'll fit in there perfectly to make it work. Just remember where your picture is going to be so that you don't put something behind your picture when you do that. All right, your about section. Your about section can be up to 2,600 characters. You want it written in first person. I believe you should keep the paragraphs to no more than 3 lines. So you see over there on the right-hand side, you know, my name is Jeff Morrison. I'm an operation manager, production manager, general manager. I help companies do things better, faster, and smarter by applying Lean and Six Sigma. How can I help your company? Remember, you're here to help a company. A company's going to hire you because they have a problem and you're a problem solver. What can you do to help them? So then I list I have a couple paragraphs there explaining how I can help them. I keep it down to 2 or 3 lines of paragraph because it's easy to read. Let's get connected. I put my email address and my phone number again. I use the hashtag ONO, open to new opportunities. A lot of people will go and just type in ONO, or when they search in a search box, type in ONO because they're trying to see who else is open to new opportunities. And then at the very bottom, I put in a bunch of keywords. Down the very bottom, you'll see that it's full of keywords that somebody may search for. So that's the first place that they're going to be listed. Most of those keywords are also in each of the jobs I've had. They're mentioned in each one of the jobs. So you've got 2,600 characters. Tell people what it is you can do and how you can help them. Okay, always send a personal note whenever you send a connection request to somebody. I get every day 2 or 3 connection requests from people, and I don't know why we should connect. I personally, and most people I talk to, will not connect with somebody unless you sent a personal note. Okay, so you've got to be careful about, you know, how that happens. Even on a cell phone, you can send a personal note. So this happens to be an iPhone shot. Now, this was a couple years ago. Like I said, LinkedIn changes their stuff all the time, so I'm not really sure what's happened. That more feature may be a little 3 lines now, but click on that instead of clicking on the connect button, and you see the next screen says on the right says personal invite, that you can personalize an invitation. So if you can, always send a personal invite. And if you can't, go to your desktop and do it from your desktop, so you can always do that. Now, you always want to look for the blue connect button when you're on your PC or Mac, on a desktop, or PC or Mac. When you click on that white connect button, that sends the generic invitation that we just saw. Okay, but so if you see somebody, and what'll happen is, like, you do a search for the alumni search like we did earlier, and if you scroll down, you'll see all these alumni photos. Most of them will just have the white connect button. Well, you don't want to ever click on that white connect mode. If you want to connect with somebody, click on their picture. So what I did here, the one on the left, I clicked on her picture, and boom, what's on the right pops up, and that's her profile. And on her profile, you then get the blue connect button. And when you get a blue connect button, you can then send a personal note. Okay, daily routine. You probably should spend 10 to 15 minutes. You only need 10 to 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn. You get on LinkedIn, first thing you want to do is you want to clear the red. You want to go through and click on home, see what kind of new things popped up in your feed. You want to go to your network. If anybody sent you any invitations, accept or decline those. Do you have any messages that you need, any notes you need to read, any notifications that have come in? Go through, click on those, clear them out on a daily basis. Then if you need to spend more time because you're researching, you're trying to find somebody, that can be the additional 15 to 30 minutes a day. The other thing you want to do in that 15 to 30 minutes a day is you want to like, comment, or share on 3 to 5 posts every day. Remember earlier I talked about to be active on LinkedIn. For LinkedIn to know that you're active and an active user, they want to see some usage. So if you go and you like something, if you share something, if you make a comment on somebody else's post, that will move you up and show that you're an active user. You want to curate 1 to 2 articles per week. Now, what I'm saying is you want to post an article. You want to come up with something on your own and post it. Now, you can write your own blog if you'd like to do that. Or there's a website called feedly.com, feedly.com. It's a free resource. You can go there. You can type in that I want an article for project managers. And you come up and you'll see a bunch of articles. Find one that you like. Click on it. Go read it. See if it's right. If it is, copy that link. Go paste it in LinkedIn, and then write why people should read this article. I just found this article. I really like the writer. I like the way they talked about this, or this is something we need to be considering as project management moves from 2021 to 2022, whatever it is. Write a little something to show why you think it's important that people read this article. And then the third thing you want to do is follow a company page. Any job that you apply for, you want to go and follow that company's page, because that way those posts from that company will pop up in your daily news feed. Okay, if you're looking to find key contacts and prospects, how do you do that? You do that using Boolean modifiers. Now you can do this beside LinkedIn, the same things are good in Google, Chrome, Firefox. All these search engines use these same Boolean modifiers. The important thing to remember is you need to make sure they're capitalized and or not, or the quotes or the parentheses, okay? So you'll see in the little search box here, we're looking for a recruiter and technology. So a technology recruiter, but not, and then in parentheses, it says oil and gas. So we don't want an oil and gas recruiter, but we're looking for a recruiter in technology, not oil and gas. So that's how you do those. You just need to make sure the and or not is capitalized. It's a really great way to help you search. Take a little time. You can play around with it, and you'll see how it works. I think this is the last thing I want to talk about a little bit, and this is called your social selling index. You can go on LinkedIn. If you go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI, what will happen is it'll pop up and it will show you what your current social selling index is. For a lot of people, it's in their 30s and 40s. You want to get it probably to around 70, somewhere in the 70s if you can. If you've done it in your 70s, it means that you're building relationships. It means that you're posting information, that you're looking for the right people, and you're engaging with other people. You're engaging with insights. So you can see how it breaks down. You can see what categories you need more help with. Okay, it will rank you with I'm in the top 1% of my industry. I'm in the top 4% of my network. So if I have like almost 4,000 connections, I'm in the top 4% of my connections with my score of 70 right here. So just something to think about. LinkedIn.com/sales/SSI. As long as you're logged into LinkedIn on your computer, this will happen in a separate window because it just knows who you are. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. I'd be glad to answer any questions anybody has. If you've got questions, please, you feel free to unmute your mic and ask away. Questions, comments? Going once, going twice? All right, I guess no questions. All right, well, here's my LinkedIn profile. If you'd like to connect with me, just, you'll see it right here. You're welcome to do so. Please send me a personal note if we haven't done it. If you've already sent me a LinkedIn request and I didn't connect with you because you didn't send a personal note, you can go and withdraw your post. You can withdraw your request to connect and then do it again with the connection request. So just as an FYI. All right.
Hey, Jeff, it's Rosina.
Yes.
Hi. I have a quick question on how did you create your word cloud? Did you actually input all of the words that you have in that word cloud, or how exactly did you do it?
Well, I don't know if the program I used actually still exists anymore, because the one I uses Flash, and most programs don't allow Flash to happen anymore. But I would just go to Google, type in word cloud, and you'll find a system that'll do it. There'll be a couple different options there. And what I did is I just put my resume. I copied my resume, I pasted it into the box, and this is what popped up. So this is what the word cloud saw from my resume. If you just want to give it a bunch of words, you could sit there and type a bunch of words. But the key is, the bigger the words, obviously I must have mentioned manufacturing a number of times in my profile. I mentioned production manager a number of times, or manage, whatever. So those were the key words. Because they repeat it more often, they were bigger. And then you can see the words that were small weren't in there as much. So just go to Google, see what you can find for word clouds. And I know this particular program, which, like I say, I don't know if it still exists or not. There was about, you click on it. If you didn't like the way that one looked, click on it again. It had like 10, it just keep rearranging different color combinations with what it saw that it liked. I happen to like this one, and that's why I saved it.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
All right, very good. Let's see. David says, great presentation. My SSI is only 54. What are your recommendations to get this higher? Well, like I said, when you have that SSI book open, there's those 4 categories off to the right-hand side. Click on those and they'll tell you what it is you need to do to increase that. Okay, so you're trying to just increase each one of those categories. You have to do different things. Are you active? Are you engaging? Are you seeking out people? So let LinkedIn guide you on how that works.
Okay, sounds like a plan. I understand now what you mean. I'm good with one of the 4, and I'm just terrible at 2 of them, and so at a fourth one.
Yeah,
so
just
thank you.
Click on that little question mark right there.
Yeah,
explain what it is. If you need to, you can Google it and get a better understanding as far as what it is you need, what you need to improve on. But listen, a score of 54, how do you compare to your connections?
It says people in my industry, I'm 26. In other words, the average SSI people in my industry is 26, so I'm kicking their butts.
Yes, yes.
Um,
So,
Yeah,
because most people I see, they're only usually in their 20s and 30s. So the fact that you're a 54 already, that's really good.
okay, perfect. Thank you for your help on this. This is very eye-opening.
Good, good. I'm glad you
Thank you.
like it. All right,
Thank
so
you.
here's my profile. If you'd like to connect with me, please do. Next week, our presenter will be Locke Alderson. He'll talk about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting, strategies to get results. All right, I need everybody to please raise your right hand and repeat after me for the LinkedIn promise. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. I can't stress this enough. If you're going to send a connection request to somebody, let them know why you're connecting. Let them know that you see that they're a leader in the industry. Let them know that we went to the same school together. Go rah rah Tigers, whatever it is. We want to just like to connect with other alumni who live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or wherever it is. Just do something. Just remember that whenever you see that white connect button, you cannot send a personal note. You always want to look for that blue connect button, which will allow you to send a personal note. Personally, if I own LinkedIn, if I ran LinkedIn, if I was the king of LinkedIn, I am running, you're welcome to elect me anytime, I would mandate the white connect button would go away. And whenever you connected up, when you clicked on the blue connect button, you would immediately open up a text box and make you send a personal note so that people would know why you want to connect. But to me, it makes all the difference. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Today was our 502nd workshop that we've put on since COVID started. Thank you if you've been with us in the past. Hopefully you'll join us again in the future for the other ones coming up. Tomorrow for the practice interview team, every Wednesday we talk about interviewing. You'll be able to watch a practice interview. If you'd like to be scheduled for a practice interview, just reach out to dallaspitcrew.com. All the information is right there, dallaspitcrew.com, and all the information you need to sign up. The interviews are totally free, and it's well worth participating and practice now while you can. Don't wait until you have an interview scheduled. This Thursday, being the first Thursday of the month, we're going to talk all about resumes. We'll do sort of 2 parts. We'll talk about best practices for an effective resume, especially using an ATS system. And then the second part of our session, if anybody would like to share their current draft resume, you can get rid of the header information, but we'll take a look at your resume online and we'll offer suggestions and let people offer suggestions as far as what they see. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting, the first Friday of every month we do is open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you'd like to talk about. So if you have questions about your job search, if you'd like to just offer suggestions and your opinion on other people's questions, you're welcome to do so. So join us this Friday morning. If you'd like to join the Career DFW or Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to join one or both. You don't have to live in the DFW area to join the Career DFW group. I just happened to start that group when I started the website. If you do join the DFW group, we have over 13,700 members. So your connections will expand really quickly. This session has been recorded. I will upload it to the Career USA YouTube channel. Please follow us on Facebook. If you do, every time you do that, your phone will give you a little buzz saying that we're now live on Facebook. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, every time we post a new video, you'll be able to find out about the new video that's just got posted. On the Career USA YouTube channel, it looks something like this. Click on playlist. Every video that I upload goes into a playlist. There's 7 different playlists that are up there. Find the one that's linked in or whichever one you'd like to do. And don't click on the video, but down below where it says view full playlist, where you see that red arrow, click on that and up will come a list of the dates, who was the speaker, and what the title was. So you can go through and find whatever topic is you'd like to review at your leisure. Like I said, this video will be up there. It'll take about 2 hours for YouTube to get it up there this afternoon. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops, you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list. If you're not getting our emails from any place, please send an email to Career USA, the +subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get every day is the title of the day, the topic of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. That way, as soon as we're done, as soon as you get your lunch, you can grab your lunch, grab your breakfast, click on the Zoom link, and you'll be able to join our meeting on a daily basis. Please remember, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has been as a volunteer. This is my little charity giving back to you to help you land your next job, We don't take you fishing, but we'll teach you how to fish. It's up to you to decide if you want to go, use the skills that we're showing and sharing with you. Career DFW survives on donations. Please consider making one when you get your next job. So thank you very much for joining us today. If you really enjoyed the seminar, please let somebody else know that you're looking. Let some other job seeker know that you've seen at another workshop. Hey, did you see about what Career DFW and Career USA is putting on every day? We'd really appreciate it. Spread the word. We really appreciate it. So everybody have a great afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you later in the week.